Last week, I saw Jim Cramer tweet, "Pay me in Bitcoin." Almost daily, I see professional athletes, NFL, NBA, "Pay me in Bitcoin." You just announced, I think a week ago, that your board of directors are going to get paid in Bitcoin. Do you think companies are going to adopt, whether it's 401 contribution or a mix of restricted stock options and getting paid in Bitcoin? Will companies, in order to attract talent, offer payments and compensation with cryptocurrencies? And how was that conversation with your board when you told them? They must have been all clapping it and high-fiving when you said that.
Well, the whole idea is Bitcoin is a savings account. It's a bank in cyberspace offering a simple, secure savings account. And that savings account has been yielding 200% tax-free interest for a decade, and this year it's doing more. So it's a good way to save money. The board was excited about it. If I have 200,000 in cash and I convert it to Bitcoin, if it goes up 20, 30, 40% a year, I mean, if it went up 1/10 of what it's been going up, it's still a million times better than my alternative of sitting in a bank savings account. Our employees are very enthusiastic about this. The next step for us is to roll out Bitcoin on-ramps and Bitcoin savings options for all of our employees. I think you're going to see an explosion of that. You know, everyone offering 401k savings plans and employee savings account. It's like the employee stock program for the decade. If I wanted to diversify, yeah, I can put my money into the company stock, but maybe I would like to put my money into a thermodynamically sound money that's going to be appreciating. It's just a good retirement idea. And so it's a big opportunity, right? I think you're going to see an explosion in those finance products from insurance companies and fund companies and the like over the next 12 months.
I agree.
But the interesting question is, what do central banks do? Are they going to buy Bitcoin? They're going to hold those in reserves like they heard other reserve currencies? Or is this going to be kind of a war on the dollar? Because it's starting to look like a war on central bank currencies. And will central banks participate? So what do you think?
I think that the right way to think about this is that money has two components. There's a currency component, which is a medium of exchange and a payment network. And then there's an asset component, which is a long-term store of value. And it used to people used the dollar as a medium of exchange, and they used debt and ETFs and index funds as store of value. Mm-hmm. And maybe some people use gold. I think that if you look out, you're going to see the final culmination of the mobile wave is 8 billion people on the planet with a mobile wallet, and one layer is US dollar or euros in your checking account or your payment network, and it moves at the speed of light on compliant payment rails. And then the second layer is your savings account, and that's like a high quality asset. So what are the high quality currencies? US dollar, euro, yen. What are the high quality assets? Bitcoin, and then fill in your blank, an ETF, Amazon, Apple. Who are the losers? Low quality assets, probably gold is a loser. Crappy stocks are a loser. Bonds that are negative yielding. Savings accounts that give you negative interest. Those are losing assets. And the losing currencies, Venezuelan currency, Nigerian currency, Argentine currency, Lebanese currency. The weak currency is getting squeezed out. Weak assets getting squeezed out. The world will stampede toward strong assets, strong currency. I think the US dollar is a winner. I don't think it's a loser. I think that this spreads American supremacy.
Before we continue, help us by smashing that YouTube like button and subscribe now to this channel. This shows the algorithm that you value the information, and it helps us spread this message. Sharing is caring. Please like and subscribe now. Thank you. And now let's continue.
You should expect 5 billion mobile wallets with the US dollar on it. And now how do you get the mobile wallets to synchronize in cyberspace? You need the Bitcoin blockchain, because that's the settlement network that lets a mobile app in Africa settle with a mobile app in the US and a mobile app in China once a day on the blockchain. And then you got 18 million applications or 18 million transactions an hour running on the second layer with the currency.
Yeah, and you're talking about settlement and trade in a massive way. I mean, this is, are you worried about hacking? Are you worried about people breaking in? Because this is one of the big concerns people still have in terms of being copied, hacked, or banned. I mean, some people I know have had their Coinbase accounts hacked and take Bitcoin stripped from them right along the way. So,
well, I mean,
there's no central bank protecting you here.
Bitcoin's the most secure database, secure network in the world, and in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you couldn't be sure, but after 12 years, it has not been hacked. The risk, the cybersecurity risk, is at the layer 2 level with Bitcoin banks.
Yep.
Square is a Bitcoin bank. Coinbase is a Bitcoin bank. Mt. Gox was a Bitcoin bank. So there'll be 100,000 of these mobile apps and websites sitting on top of the underlying Bitcoin. They all have their own attack surfaces, and they range from simple password on a web browser down to like triple factor authentication hardware wallets. And you'll see all of those things. I think if you're a user of Bitcoin, you have to just very carefully decide what kind of Bitcoin bank do you want to deal with. And look, you could buy Grayscale Trust, GBTC, and you own some Bitcoin exposure, and you don't really have the hacking concern. Right. Or you can go the opposite extreme and you can memorize a 24-phrase seed key in your head. Sometimes, you're a bigger risk to yourself than the bank is.
Definitely.
Yes, I think you might find that people will fall in love with the idea that, like, Apple gives you multi-signature with the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the biometric secure element in the cloud, and they might get comfortable with something like that, It remains to be seen who's going to win the war. What you've got is Fidelity competing with Coinbase, competing with Square, competing with Trezor, competing with Ledger, competing with memorize the stuff in your head.
And Binance, yep.
And that's the market. And that's all fair and it's fine. Yeah. And the market will decide. And by the way, it's not even that there's one right answer, because if you're Mass Mutual and you want to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, you're not putting it on a Trezor or whatever.
No.
You don't have the ability. So there are flavors of money, and everybody's going to take a different approach to put their money into this asset space.